Remember, while business was the big focus, but terror also was as much a highlight, especially mentioned by Donald Trump. And the biggest development was Tahawwur Rana is going to be extradited to India. Meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi, US President Donald Trump, in his opening remarks itself announced his administration has approved Tahawwur Rana's extradition. This is, remember, with regard to the 2611, one of the main accused and conspirators. President Trump stated they are working with India on crime. Tahawur Rana, just to remind you, was one of the main accused with 2611 Mumbai attacks plotting, and he had been in the United States of America, will now have to face interrogations and trial in India. Prime Minister Modi expressed thanks to President Trump for the same and said USA and India will work together against terror.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that my administration has approved the extradition of one of the plotters and one of the very evil people of the world, and having to do with the horrific 2008 Mumbai terrorist attack, to face justice in India. So he's going to be going back to India to face justice.
आतंकवाद के खिलाफ लड़ाई में भारत और अमेरिका दृढ़ता से साथ खड़े रहे हैं। हम सहमत हैं कि सीमा पार आतंकवाद के उन्मूलन के लिए ठोस कार्रवाई आवश्यक है और मैं राष्ट्रपति जी का आभारी हूं। उन्होंने 2008 के जिसने भारत में नरसंहार किया था, उस मुजरिम को अब भारत के हवाले करने का निर्णय किया है। भारत की अदालतें उचित कार्यवाही करेंगी।
Well, I don't think India had a very good relationship with the Biden administration. Biden, they wouldn't sell them oil and gas, which is rather hard to believe because, it's a good thing to do. And a lot of things happened that weren't very appropriate, I thought, between India and the administration, the Biden administration. But as you said, we're giving a very violent man, it seems to me. I mean, I don't know that he's been convicted yet or will be, but let's assume he's a pretty violent person. We're giving him back to India immediately, and there are more to follow because we have quite a few requests. So we work with India on crime, and we want to make it good for India, and it's very important. So that kind of a relationship is very important to us.
President Trump on extradition said that Tahawur Rana will be extradited, but there are more to follow because there are many requests from India. Could you just tell us what are the requests from India? Are there any more names that you've given to the Americans?
Yes, there are other requests as well. I won't go into the names immediately, but there are other requests that are registered with the U.S. authorities.
Prime Minister Modi and President Trump just finished their press conference. It was a very extensive press conference. They talked about a lot of issues that concerns both the countries, be it Russia-Ukraine war, be it the tariffs and trade, be it AI, be it countering China, and they both seem to be on the same page for most of the things that was discussed, except for one, which was the tariff. President Trump actually brought up tariffs and said that India needs to pay its fair share, that these tariffs will be in place. But he also gave a way out for India in the sense that there could be a trade deal that both sides could be working on, ensuring that both sides and their concerns could be taken into account while negotiating that deal. On topics such as Russia, Prime Minister Modi made it clear that India's position is that of peace. India is not neutral. India is absolutely willing to be on the side of peace, and that's the same position of President Trump. One of the biggest thing was the extradition of a terrorist, the mastermind of 2611, Tahawwur Rana. He was approved by President Trump. Actually, President Trump in his initial remarks started by saying that he's approved the request and that the terrorist should belong to the courts in India and they should do justice with him. Prime Minister Modi thanked him for the gesture and said the courts will make sure that justice is delivered for the barbaric attacks that occurred in 2008 on 2611. It looks like that this meeting, the summit has set up set up a template for the next 4 years of the Indo-US relationship.
So India today also questioned US President Donald Trump on China and Khalistani issue, and especially the anti-India voices that appear to be finding a shelter in the USA. Here's what he said to it.
President Trump, how are you going to fight China if you're going to be tough with India on trade? How are you going to beat China then?
We're in very good shape to beat anybody we want, but we're not looking to beat anybody. We're looking to do a really good job. We've done a fantastic job for the American people. We had a great 4 years, and we were interrupted by terrible administration, absolutely terrible. They didn't know what they were doing, and now we're putting it back together, and I think it's going to end up being much stronger than it was before, even much stronger than it was before.
Okay, Geeta Mohan from India Today, sir. The question is about the fact that you've decided to extradite Tahawwur Rana. Thank you so much. India has been waiting to have him back in India to bring him to justice. But there are many other elements in the United States of America, particularly Khalistani separatists who've been working against Indian interests. How is the United States of America going to cooperate on that front with India? There have been allegations that have been leveled against Indian agencies by the Biden administration. Are you going to relook that with Tulsi Gabbard as DNI now?
Well, I don't think India had a very good relationship with the Biden administration. They wouldn't sell them oil and gas, which is rather hard to believe because, it's a good thing to do. And a lot of things happened that weren't very appropriate, I thought, between India and the administration, the Biden administration. But as you said, we're giving a very violent man, it seems to me. I mean, I don't know that he's been convicted yet or will be, but let's assume he's a pretty violent person. We're giving him back to India immediately. And there are more to follow because we have quite a few requests. So we work with India on crime. And we want to make it good for India, and it's very important. So that kind of a relationship is very important to us.
And also, one of our other neighbor nations presently facing a crisis is Bangladesh. Donald Trump had this to say on the Bangladesh issue.
Well, there was no role for our deep state. It was. This is something that the Prime Minister has been working on for a long time and has been worked on for hundreds of years, frankly. I've been reading about it. But I will leave Bangladesh to the Prime Minister.
All right, so this is important to remember that because while there was bonhomie, there was talk on trade and tariff, the defense sector as well with the F-35 stealth fighter jets, but as much the mention with regard to what is unfolding in Bangladesh.